According to the American Cancer Society's annual publication called Cancer Facts and Figures that was published in January of this year, it's estimated that 1,918,030 new cancer cases will be opened and 609,030 people will die from cancer this year in the U.S. alone. The purpose of this speech is to inform Communication 110 students about a new up-and-coming cancer treatment called CAR T-cell therapy. I'm going to go over why someone may need CAR T-cells, the process of the therapy, and the stage of development that CAR T-cell therapy is in. So now I hope you're ready to dig into some CAR T-cells. My first point that I'd like to go over is why someone may need CAR T-cells, but first you have to have a baseline knowledge of how the immune system works. According to an article that the National Human Genome Research Institute wrote and published that was last revised on June 22nd of this year, when an invader comes into our body, they are covered in proteins that are called antigens. These antigens are our body's way of telling that they don't belong there. Then our immune system cells, which are covered in antibodies, are able to attach to the antigens and neutralize the threat. Antibodies and antigens have a lock and key relationship, so you can only attach to the certain type. Antibodies exist on several different types of immune system cells, but for the sake of time and clarity, I'm only going to be talking about T cells in this speech. A charity called Cancer Research UK wrote and published an article, last revised on July 7th, 2020, that tells us that cancer can spread to bone marrow, which is the center inside of our bones. This is the site of production for many different types of blood system cells, including T cells. So when this area is compromised, the production of them can lower, or it can change them to create cells that don't do their job. It's in these cases when someone's natural immune system doesn't have the ability to fight off cancer that someone may need some genetically engineered cells. So I've just explained to you why someone may need some CAR T cells. Secondly, I'd like to explain the process of CAR T cell therapy. The American Cancer Society published an article written by the American Cancer Society Medical and Editorial Content Team, last revised on March 1st of this year, outlining the entire process of CAR T cell therapy. The first step is that the patient goes through leukapheresis, which means that the patient sits back for about 2 to 3 hours and they have their blood taken out through an IV. It then goes into a machine that separates their blood into all its different parts, and the white blood cells are taken out. Then the rest of their blood, including the plasma, red blood cells, platelets, goes back into their body. The second step is that the white blood cells are further separated, and the T cells in that sample is sent to a lab. It's in that lab that a chimeric antigen receptor, or a CAR, is added to the T cells. The antigen receptor is specific to the type of antigens that are on the cancer cells in that person's body, and then the T cells have the ability to detect a cancer and it's then able to destroy it. The T cells are left alone for a couple weeks so that they can multiply, so that there's enough that when they're added into the body, they make a difference. The third step is putting those T cells back into the body. It's then the hope that these CAR T cells can detect and destroy the cancer and then continue multiplying so that a patient gets well enough that they can enter remission. I've just gone through the entire process of CAR T cell therapy with you, so now I would actually like to go over my final point, which is the development stage that CAR T cell therapy is in. According to an undated article that was written and published by the Mayo Clinic, the first CAR T cell therapy treatment was approved in 2017 by the Food and Drug Administration. Today, CAR T cell therapy is only used for relapse and refractory cancers, which means that the patient must have had cancer, gone into remission, and the cancer's come back, and their cancer is unresponsive to other types of more mainstream treatment like chemotherapy. Today, CAR T cell therapy is used to treat B-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia, B-cell non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, follicular lymphoma, multiple myeloma, and mantle cell lymphoma. A research article in Frontiers in Immunology that was published on October 11th of 2019, written by Lejun Zhao and UCAO, outlines some of the different progress that it's made. For example, Yescarta, which is used to treat B-cell lymphoma, had a success rate of slowing 82% of the research study's patients' cancer down, and 54% of the patients had their cancer disappear completely. This means that it disappeared at the time of treatment and it stayed gone from their body for at least 15 months after. I've just gone over my final point, which is where CAR T-cell therapy is in its development today. I just finished explaining to you why someone may need CAR T-cells, the entire process of CAR T-cell therapy, and the current status of where CAR T-cell therapy is in the medical world today. CAR T-cell therapy is saving so many lives, and in an article that was written and published by the National Cancer Institute with no publication date, we can see that there are 6 FDA-approved CAR T-cell therapies today, and there are multiple research studies for potential new treatments that could be coming about soon. It's starting to be seen as a second-line treatment rather than a last-ditch effort, and it's because of this that I think CAR T-cell therapy is going to save thousands of lives in the next few years. But the only way for us to know the success rate is to just wait and see.